Good morning, everybody. We made it to Friday. Yay. It is here and it's going to be a busy day. Wow. Is it just me or has this week seemed like 2 weeks long? It's been crazy. Some of you are still reaching out to me about the tornadoes in Oklahoma. Rest assured, I didn't know anything was going on. I slept. I slept through it, but it's horrible what happened south of Oklahoma City. Horrible, horrible. Good morning, Laura. Lauren, sorry. Tanya made it in. Hello, Celeste. Angie baby's in the house. How's it going? Slim is not blocked. That was just an accident yesterday. By the way, I unblocked everybody except for the bots, the Tinder people, and like 2 people. So accidents happen. Like I said, if in here you get blocked, send me an email, please. I don't like any misunderstandings because people go to other chats and they're like, they blocked me over there. They don't like what I have to say. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. Accidents happen. Kat said, all good. Cherry Piss can come back. She's back or he's back. Hello, Rock and Roller. Hello, Jakey. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All are welcome. Hello, Bob. How's it going? How's your weather in Florida? It's super nice here. Slim said, I'm not sure how you find out you're blocked. I don't know. I guess I could go catch some channels I'm blocked from when they go live and see what it looks like. Tarnia, thank you for the reminder. Tarnia just said Cherry Piss is a new member. Thank God. So like I said, it's going to be a hectic day because we have this show, which is just a week in review. 10 o'clock Central, trial. At their lunch break, we're having a members live. Very important group meeting we have going on. And then we're going back to the trial. So I only put one, I had them both scheduled. It said part 1 trial, part 2 trial. Well, people, and it's very easy to do, went to part 2 and they were like, can't wait. So I unlisted that so that way people aren't hanging around in part 2. So right before the members live, I'll unlist the part 2. Did I make that any more confusing? Just going to take today minute by minute. For sure. For sure, we have a lot going on. Just Me said your comments won't show if you're blocked. Good to know. Good to know. P said you talk away to people and they don't respond to you in chats means you're blocked. Okay. Good to know. You shouldn't have that problem here. Good morning, Rowdy. Good morning. Good morning. How is it going? All right. Let me see. I have the link pinned. There's the members link. Hello, Joneson. Good morning. I got a comment from Joneson yesterday about Oakley Snow because she's going to cover it too. That's a very, very, very concerning case. As you know, if you missed the show the other day, go catch it. Let's get to our week in review. Again, it felt like it was 2 weeks long. 2 weeks freaking long. I don't know what the hell was going on. It was Tuesday, and I'm like, oh, thank God tomorrow's Friday. Then I was like, hold the phone, lazy ass. It's only Tuesday. Gotta keep on trucking. So let's start with Trent. We have heavily been covering the case of Trent Lehrkamp. Finally, arrests were made, but they weren't what we were hoping for. Now, I wasn't thinking for a minute that anybody would be charged with attempted murder because the intent wasn't there. Nobody was trying to kill him. I was hoping for maybe a attempted manslaughter, if there's such a thing. What we have is a slew of misdemeanors is what came out. They did charge the parents, the Strothers, that whether they were aware or not, had been hosting these parties where kids are getting tortured. So if you see on the left of the screen, that's a name we're familiar with, Edward Ruker Hobby, 17. If you remember, his mom is the one that was trying to jerk the tears out of our face and tell us he has a drinking problem. If you look on the screen, it says this is Edward Ruker Hobby in the photo from Snapchat on the left. His mugshot from last November, because he's already had run-ins with the law, on the right. In a police incident report from 4 months ago, his mother told police he had a problem with drinking. He's 17 years old. Again, little Eddie cannot have a problem with drinking. He's 17. He doesn't have a J-O-B. But his mom does. At 17, the only problem he can have and does have is his mother. All right, in the middle is James C. Strother. He got a misdemeanor charge. And then on the right is Lauren C. Strother. James is 46, Lauren is 57, and they both, that's their mugshots, got misdemeanors. Now we're familiar with the Strothers as well. If you see right here, there's their home, over a $500,000 home. They own the hardware store. Don't know how well business is doing right now, though. This was from several weeks ago. Brett Buffington tweeted, the WSAV investigative unit can confirm that at least one of the attacks on Trent happened at this St. Simon's Island home owned by James and Lauren Strother. The family also owns a hardware store on the island. When I called there today, I was told no comment. Surprised they answered the phone at all. So not just March 21st, not just March 17th, and not just Trent, but other kids have come forward saying that at this home, they also have been shot by pellet guns and other things have happened to them. Now, James and Lauren, I'm just going to take a guess, will wind up paying a fine and going back to the hardware store. 2 other juveniles were charged with misdemeanors. We do not know their names. I guarantee one of them is their son, Jackson. And really not much is going to happen. So I've been waiting for Trent or his family to speak out about this. I wasn't going to raise too much hell. They've been through enough. So if they're happy with the charges, then that's all there is to it. Well, they're not. Let me read this to you. Let me put my Dollar Tree spectacles on. Today, it was evident that they wanted to address and correct what the kids didn't do, but not recognize or acknowledge the fact of what was done to Trent. This is true. At the end of the day, he was mistreated in inhumane ways. Trent was humiliated, being hosed in a chair, and the joke of social media videos. Taped to a chair and posed within pictures. It is disgusting. We don't believe that confirming it wasn't feces on him, urine on him, or no battery acid down his throat makes this any better. A vulnerable 19-year-old was made to be a sick joke of someone's disgusting fun and games. The family has reached back out to the investigators. Good. The problem is the investigators aren't the problem. It's the DA. The DA is putting a lot of onus on Trent. Now, this is the thing, and I know other people feel somewhat or a lot what the DA feels. If you look at this picture, he could not consent to this. Yes, he's 19. Yes, he's an adult. Yes, he had hung out with them many times before. That is shit on his lap, okay? I don't know why they're saying that that is not poop on his lap. They're saying that the urine was his own urine. that when you drink 6 times the legal limit, you're either going to throw up, sweat, or pee yourself. So they're saying that the urine smell was his. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because he wouldn't, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. He didn't tape himself to the chair. I'm sure when he got there, he did consent to drinking because they were all together and they were at a home that has no problem with underage people under 21 drinking. He could not have taped himself to the chair. He could not have held his head back and poured the vodka down his own throat. This picture right here, he's unconscious. He's unconscious. There is no way in hell he ingested 6 times the legal limit. There's no way. I'm sure we all have a story or two to where we tied one on and had a little too much. But I don't know of anyone that could drink enough to end the night on a ventilator and spend the next week, week and a half in the ICU. No way. Anybody here ever gone to a party and wound up in the ICU by your own doing? I hope not. 6 times the legal limit. He, by all accounts and purposes, should be dead. Of course, I don't want him dead, but he should. He only had his youth going for him. This is horrible. The family statement goes on to say Trent was visibly taped to the chair, visibly spray painted. He didn't spray paint himself. There also was a video shared with the police from the night when he came home and was once again spray painted, covered in glue-like substance, sprayed with WD-40, and dripping wet from being hosed. Uh-oh, get your umbrellas. Diana just gifted 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Good morning, Chloe. How are you, dear? He didn't spray himself with WD-40. He didn't spray paint himself. Now, the dripping wet from being hosed, the DA said it's because they had an egg fight and he volunteered to be hosed off. I don't know about that. I really, truly don't. They're not addressing that. And I agree with the family. They're spending all this time telling us what the kids didn't do, but they're not addressing what they did do. And I apologize for saying kids. People. The people is all I'm going to say. Rest assured, Trent is getting good care. However, there are bad days filled with anxiety and fear. He is working through the trauma and PTSD, past losses, and the grief that comes with that, as well as getting all the recommended care they feel is beneficial to him. He is not being treated for alcohol or drug addiction. That was a rumor that was put out within hours of the DA's statement. And if he is, he is. That doesn't mean, but he's not. That doesn't mean that you do this to any human being. Had he hung out with them before? Yes. Had he had problems with them before? Yes. Is he 19? Yes. Does he have any sort of mental disability? No. No. But the picture we're looking at here, you can take all the consent off the table. He is taped to a chair and he is unconscious. Now, when they talk about the hosing off from the egg fight, how come it was only Trent that had to be hosed off? Why don't they address that? Did he have an egg fight with himself? How come he was the only one covered in eggs, Mr. DA? How come he was the only one that had to be hosed off? Look at this.
Get the back of his head. Get the back of his head.
Sit down. Hey, sit down. This is dude perfect. And we're washing off.
Get the back of his head. Get the back of his head.
Sit down. Hey, sit down. This is dude perfect. And we're washing off.
Get the back of his head. Get the back of his head.
Sit down. Hey, sit down. This is dude perfect. And we're washing off.
Just Me said, I don't see anyone else covered. So he had an egg fight with himself? We're supposed to believe that? No. No. Sunshine Cowgirl said, underage drinking in your home, isn't that a charge in their state? It is. They call it maintaining a disorderly home. Well, that would be Candace Wells. Disorderly home. And all of these are misdemeanors. These are, listen, slap on the wrist. They're going to pay a fine. The only one that I see that's going to serve any time would be Mr. 17-year-old drinking problem. Edward Roby will probably serve some time if he's in there. I don't know, take a guess. How long do you think he's actually going to spend in the jail? I have a feeling it's not going to be any worse than county. They're going to go into this. He has a drinking problem. He didn't know better. Trent is 19. Trent showed up on his own accord. Anything they can pull out, they're going to. And I just don't know what to do. I just don't, except for to keep talking about it and get other creators to talk about it. From what I understand, this DA does not care. He does not care about the social media blowback. Does not care. Maria said, these kids are monsters. Nana's saying 2 weeks. 2 weeks in county. Tony said, not long at all. Pale said, he'll be in prison by his 20th birthday. You damn right he will. You know why? Because after he does his little stint in county, and Angela, the realtor, his mom, that says he has a drinking problem, even though he's 17 with no job and no way to buy it without her, she's not going to do anything more with him than she did in November when he got in trouble. Nothing. You get away with bad behavior one time, the next time's worse. Then the next time's worse. The jails are full of people with mental illness. The jails are full of people that claim to be addicts or were addicts at one time. The jails are full of bad daddy stories. The jails are full of mama's boys. She better stop this now. She better stop it now. And I want to know, what are they doing about the other people that are coming forward saying this has happened to them at that home? Because the Strothers should have charges on them for each incident. They should have a charge for March 21st. They should have a charge for March 17th. They should have a charge about the pellet gun. Anytime any kid in that house, and I'm going to say kid this time because it suits my purpose, if you know what I mean. Anytime anybody under the age of 21, I will say, was downing alcohol in their house, they should be charged. Going back up, I missed a comment. Lissa said, if this were a girl of 19, you bet those charges would be handled. I thought about that. Misty said, this is what happens when parents don't hold their children accountable. That is right. Absolutely right. Big T said, start with the supplier, then the owners of the house. I have a feeling they're one and the same. I have a feeling they're one and the same. It's ridiculous. Let's look at a news clip and discuss.
The lead at 4, a St. Simon Island couple arrested almost a month after Trent Lehrkamp was left at a hospital highly intoxicated. and nearly dead.
That investigation raised alarm in the community and across the nation. Now, James and Lauren Strother and two teenagers are charged in this case. Our Brett Buffington, our lead investigative reporter here at WSAV, is joining us live now in Glynn County. He's at the police headquarters to explain why the couple and teens are charged in this case.
Well, Tina, as you said here, tomorrow will make 1 month since Trent Lehrkamp was dropped off at the hospital here, so intoxicated he was barely breathing. In fact, had to be put on a ventilator. People here in this community, they have been calling for justice for Trent since that night. Now, 4 arrests today, 2 adults, 2 juveniles. And the 2 adults, the owners of that home where police believe these parties happened. This is Carlton and Lauren Strother. Both are arrested and charged. They were done. That happened this morning. They are charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor and maintaining a disorderly house. Those teenagers charged, one of those teens facing battery and trespassing charges, the other drug charges. But since they are juveniles and this case is going through the juvenile court system, their names won't be made public. Of course, all of these charges in this case, they are all misdemeanors. The district attorney here today saying that there was a lot of misinformation that was shared on some social media that simply was not true and that slowed this investigation down. But the DA even went so far as to say Trent essentially volunteered for the things that happened to him at both of these parties.
And just a lot of misinformation out there with regard to the specific acts that were done that were very vile in nature.
Okay, I'll rewind it. I'm going to stop it right there for a second. I was fully prepared, and I'm sure all of you were too, because we are versed in the internet, and we know how these stories on social media, when they're primarily being covered on social media and not the media, how they take on a life of their own. And there is a lot of misinformation. We're cool with that. We know. If you remember, about this time last year, I did a show about a little boy named Dominic, and I had his parents on that said he had been bullied horribly and that these kids burnt him. He was in the hospital. They had $1 million GoFundMe. They had a parade for him. He went to a Yankees game. I mean, you name it. It was just horrific. We were all like, oh my God, poor little guy. And yes, he did get burnt. Here comes the bully's mom with a video that did not show that at all. I mean, nothing like what was described. And I had to do a show and say, I was wrong. Sorry about that. Okay, but in this case, we already have a video of them hosing him down because he was the only person in the egg fight. We have this picture of him in the ICU. This is not social media misinformation, my friends. He almost died. We have a picture of him with something that looks just like poop that is not poop, and he's unconscious. He cannot make a decision right here. That's not social media misinformation. We're looking at it. And we have a DA just saying, a lot of misinformation. He's 19. He'd already hung out with them before. Why don't you try telling a woman? Yeah, I'm going there. Why don't you try telling a woman who gets beat up by her husband, well, you married the fool. You kept cooking the bastard dinner. You kept having kids with him, so you volunteered for that beating, didn't you, lady? It doesn't work that way. Jamie said that wasn't feces. Yeah, what was it? Lone Wolf, thank you for the super sticker. Lone Wolf said money, power, politics. This is what I'm hoping. A lawsuit needs to be filed. I read somewhere, because I believe everything I read on the internet, that their insurance has taken care of a big majority of the hospital bill. Screw that. Sue them. Sue them. Please, sue them.
regard to the specific acts that were done that were very vile in nature. Even if they had been committed, they still would have been simple batteries under the definition of that, but still vile with regard to allegations of defecation and urination and that he was forced to drink, things of that nature that just simply are not true.
I spoke with Trent's family this afternoon. They certainly don't agree with the DA's statements here at this press conference. They wonder some of the same questions that a lot of people in this community are wondering. They told me that they were told about these arrests just 20 minutes before we learned about them this afternoon, and asked why, if Trent's blood alcohol level was 0.464 when he was dropped off at the hospital, they want to know what Trent was able to consent to. Meanwhile, tonight we're learning new details about that night about a month ago now when Trent was dropped off from one of the teens who was in the car. Tina, Edward.
All right, Brett, of course, everyone has been following this case right here in the Coastal Empire and Low Country, but also, as you mentioned, nationwide as well. And we want to know, how is Trent doing?
He continues to recover at that out-of-state treatment center. He went there the weekend after his trip to the hospital when he was in the ICU there. He is there getting over certainly the emotional trauma of all of this, continuing to recover. In fact, his family was out of town this weekend, and they were able to have a video call, Tina, with him. Trent was able to talk with his brothers and his sister.
Ridiculous. Rendy said yes, because people volunteer for shiz like that all the time. Doesn't that look like a great time? Duct tape me to the chair. Never mind the good buzz I had going on. When I call getting drunk a ventilator at the end of the night. I want to aspirate it into my lungs. High fevers and lung infections sound like a good time to me. And some people say that he does have some onus in this. I'll give you a little bit of that. When he realized that these aren't his friends, he should have quit hanging around them. The only thing that I can think of is there's not a lot of people to hang around, and he's very vulnerable. He lost his mom. He lost his grandparents. He really thought they were his friends. He knows that they're not now. And when I say a little bit of onus, I mean like 1%. Just a little bit. Not very much. Russian Aloha, she says, alcohol is so dangerous, and it is. Alcohol is the worst. It's been talked about. It's talked about in the Bible. It is such a dangerous drug. It's socially acceptable. You can get it anywhere. It's used to celebrate, everything from office Christmas parties to welcoming a new baby. Especially to young people, she says, and it's pure hell coming out of that. That is, if you make it out alive. That's true. Horrible. I just think it's a slap in the face, a slap in the face. This is like telling a woman she was a little too drunk at the bar and her skirt was a little too short. So yeah, when she got AR'd, she has some onus in that. I don't think he should have been hanging out with those guys. I don't think that he was in any state of mind with everything he'd been going through to separate friends and foe. He knows now, though. And it's disgusting. The whole thing is disgusting. And I do not know who the other kids are. I say kids. I need to get that out of my mind. I don't know who the other two people are that were charged as juveniles. But juveniles at 17... I don't know. No, I'm sorry. If we're making excuses for 17-year-olds that clearly did wrong, guess what's going to happen when they're 20 or 22 or 25? Now what we have on our hands is a full-grown adult that got away with it just a few years ago and didn't learn a lesson then. It's much easier to straighten up and fly right at the age of 17 because you do have that parental control than to put a Band-Aid on it, and let it erupt in the 20s. Ridiculous. If you can enlist in the military at 17, then you know more than what you're saying. That's all I'm going to say about that for right now. All right. Also this week, we had a whole show about little monkey Vaughn. It is true. It is true. They have dropped the charges against Sarah for not reporting his death. Not only did she not report his death, but she didn't report the death because she was covering up the manner in which he died. All right, I'm not happy about this. I can't think of anyone that's happy about this. We do know that in these cases, in order to get the one that they really want, they will have to sometimes they will have to make nice with the people that committed the lesser charges. You know, like in the case of Harmony Montgomery. Kayla Step Meth knew Adam killed her. Step Meth knew he beat her. Step Meth knew all those things. Step Meth did not report it. Step Meth should be in jail for not saying anything and not protecting Harmony. But in order to get Teardrop for murdering Harmony, they have to make nice with Kayla. And that's what they did. Now, in order to find out what Stacey Wandra did, what Brandon did, what Adrian did, and possibly Cesar Garudo, then they got to make nice with Sarah. She's still in there for the guns and drugs, which that will eventually someday go away. She'll serve her time for that. And let's face it, guns and drugs don't have the same stench on a record that any involvement in murder does.
Sarah Wandra's charge of failure to report a death. Wandra, if you recall, is the woman accused of not notifying authorities of a dead body in the case of missing Michael Vaughn in Fruitland. The prosecution actually asked for the charge to be dropped. In a status hearing for Wandra this morning, Judge Brian Lee also vacated a preliminary hearing scheduled for tomorrow. Wandra's case is now listed as closed in Idaho court records. We're still working to gather more information on why exactly this case was dismissed. I just talked to Michael's mom, Brandy Neal, not too long ago, though, who told me this is disheartening and upsetting, but she is still confident law enforcement will bring justice for Michael as this investigation is ongoing. Michael went missing from his front yard back in July of 2021. Wandra lived about 4 blocks from the Vaughn family home when he went missing. Police say they believe Michael's remains were once buried on Wandra's property, but Michael's body was not found when the yard was excavated as part of the investigation.
And the 2 sticker scales that were.
Okay, so they know that his remains were at one time on that property. They've been moved a few times. I'm only going to read a little bit of this because this is just the probable cause affidavit is sealed. But for the time that it wasn't sealed, the Idaho Statesman wrote an article based on the probable cause affidavit. This isn't all of it by any means. Glasses again. She's definitely involved, and they know that at one time Michael was buried in their backyard. Police have arrested a woman suspected to be involved in the disappearance of a Fruitland boy and charged with failure to report a death. Sarah Wandra, 35 of Fruitland, was arrested Friday after police served a search warrant at the Red Wing Street residence she shares with her husband, Stacey Wandra. Now, Stacey's in jail too. Same charges, basically. According to a probable cause affidavit, the residence was the site of a weekend police search and excavation in connection with the disappearance of Michael. Michael went missing from his front yard, half a mile from the Wandra residence, on July 27th, 2021. Okay, so when they spoke to Sarah. This is what she said. According to court documents, police forced entry into the Wanderers' home around 9:30 p.m. Friday, where they found Sarah Wanderer in the living room. She was detained and read a copy of the search warrant. When I got to the portion that read murder, she said, "Did you just say murder?" multiple times. A Fruitland police officer wrote in the affidavit. She also said, "I never murdered anyone." Officials said Sarah Wanderer maintained that she definitely did not kill that boy and said the Most High God already told me who did it. She reportedly told police, "Oh, wow, wow, wow. The Most High God just told me that Stacy was the one who killed him and buried him in the yard of the neighbor's house." When asked later to show police where the boy was buried, according to the affidavit, she told police of a spot near the entry of her residence and said Stacy had buried him in the back by the shed. Now, the shed is a new fixture in their yard. The shed was put in the yard after Michael was abducted. Police said by that point they had begun hand digging a portion of the Wanderers' yard based on information received from Stacy, who had not been arrested or charged by Monday afternoon. It wasn't clear when or why police had spoken with Stacy Wanderer, who, by the way, is in jail, not charged yet in connection with Michael's disappearance. Sarah Wanderer was arrested and told police, "God just told me that Stacy was the one who did it," adding that she knew the body was in the neighbor's yard because that's what Stacy just told me. She then corrected herself and said that's what God told her, according to the affidavit. She allegedly reiterated to police that she had nothing to do with Michael's disappearance. She said her husband buried Michael in the backyard by the shed, but wasn't the one who actually harmed the boy. She said instead that a man identified only as Adrian had been the one that done it, and he was scared to tell anybody. That's a lot of information. That's a lot of information. And I mean a lot. And that's only a small bit of what was reported as for the probable cause. We have True Crime with Shannon backstage. Hello, Shannon. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm off work today, so I figured I could call in. We'll come up, whatever you want to call it.
Well, absolutely. Now, you took off a few days for your birthday, right?
I did. My birthday's Tuesday, so it's good to have a long weekend sometimes.
We're going to have a birthday party. We've had several birthdays lately.
April's a big month.
Kat said that's a lot of info for someone who claimed to know nothing. Now,
these
what
people
do you
stick with me so much. They really do. And this case, I've been following it, I think, almost as long as you have about that. I'll tell you what, it gives me a pit in my stomach the more I hear about the reality of what happened to Monkey. It just sickens me to the core. And I all I could think of is I want justice for this boy so bad.
It's a twofold sickness, because what happened to Monkey should not happen to any child, shouldn't even cross anyone's mind. And then you have these social media escapades that continue to harass and attack innocent people, meaning Tyler and Brandy, their children, their parents. I mean, the grandparents. A man who doesn't even live in Idaho, lives in Iowa, has been somehow, according to social media, accused of being involved in what happened to Monkey. But you forget about the evidence leading the authorities to the four people named: Stacy, Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon.
Yep, I'm so sick of that. I swear, I don't know how Brandy does it, because she's got to be one of the strongest women, because I don't know. I mean, I just want to punch some people in the face, and I'm not violent. So it's like, besides the people who did this, the people who are guilt tripping and falsely accusing this family. I mean, it's like I don't know where it ends. I don't know how they get up every day and try to, but they have to. She's got 3 other kids. So I mean, she's got to be a mom
Mhm.
and provide. And I give her so many accolades and virtual hugs and high fives every day. It's like I can't even imagine.
Well, and also the realization that half a mile from you at one time, your son's body was buried in these people's backyard.
Yeah.
The dogs hit on the crawl space in their room. They know that Monkey was in that home.
Yeah, that makes me want to throw up.
They're disgusting, disgusting ass people. That girl said, "Is there a new update on Monkey? That family needs to be left alone. How many times does Ellie need to tell people?" 5,000 more times, that girl. The new update is that the state, not the defense, but the state dropped the charges against Sarah Wandra. Now, they're saying it has to do with the state versus Adkins. It's a Supreme Court ruling in Idaho that has to do with self-incrimination. But also, they want her to tell them everyone's involvement. So it also could be leverage. They already knew about state versus Adkins when they pressed the charges against her. That's an excuse.
Yeah.
People know what they're doing.
I do like though that's without prejudice because it gives them still a good opening. So I mean, if she doesn't, help them out, she's still, got her, head in a vice there. So she's not off. She's not off. I mean, we're gonna see where it goes.
Yeah,
And
because no deal has been made.
nope, no,
There's no proffer agreement. There's no immunity. She hasn't told them anything. So it's still hanging out there. We can still pick those charges back up. Also, it saves them time because once you start the clock, everyone has the right to a speedy trial. So this saves them time also.
she says, remember she was saying in the first appearance that that's not true when they told her all this stuff. I'm like, and then the way she and her husband, I don't even know if they're husband and wife anymore, and I don't even care. That's what I said. I'm like, I don't give a crap. They're married still or divorced. Either way, they are both disgusting, and also they use religion, and it's like blasphemy. It's just sick. It's like, no, I don't believe they found any of that stuff because that's not the way. If she's truly found faith, she would tell the truth. Period.
If you've truly found faith, yeah.
You'd say, hey,
Mhm.
this is what happened. And, I mean, sure, maybe you'd make a deal too, but, you'd say, hey, here's what happened. This is who's involved. But yeah, she and Stacy are just so disgusting. It's like, and just to think that they picked up Monkey and he was having to deal with these people. It's just he had no chance. Like Lana said that he had no chance with these people. And it
No.
sickened me. This poor, sweet boy who all he wanted to do was go play, find a friend or two, and just play.
He had
And
no chance against them. That picture of them with the hamburger, that hamburger's as big as Monkey's head.
sick.
These people are animals.
Yeah. All these people, it's like they make me want to, like I said, they make me want to throw up. And I remember hearing the first news when they were saying that they were looking in that backyard, and I was eating dinner. I had to stop. I couldn't eat anymore.
Mhm.
It about made me sick because I was like, and I, even though we've heard all this news, you have to stay like Brandy does. You have to stay positive. And granted, we know that probably not the best thing is what's going to come out because Huff has been amazing for this case, and he's been amazing with that family. I know that whole department is loving on Brandy and Tyler and those kids.
100%.
I
And
mean,
they know where I haven't heard anything about Caesar Garudo. They haven't named him as a suspect.
yeah, what's
But
going on with him?
Oh, I don't know. They don't tell me these things. I wish I was part of the morning meeting.
I want to go.
Just let us. We won't tell anybody. They
Come
know
on,
that
Huff, let us in, and we'll be like, oh wow.
they know that Brandon is in Montana. Adrian is still homeless in Toledo, Ohio somewhere. They know where they're at. Stacy's in jail. Now, last update besides this about Sarah we had is that they're waiting for further DNA testing from inside the home.
Yeah.
But then, this is dropped. It's dropped by the state. They're trying to conserve time and also they're using leverage.
Yeah.
And people immediately jumped on and said, because they're getting ready to charge Tyler. Someone explained to me.
Gosh, where'd they get that from?
I've been waiting. I've been waiting this whole time. In 20 minutes with a teenager home, buggy home. Brandy had just gone to work a few hours before. I guess that doesn't really matter. And his father that had been in and out all day could be home any minute. So in 20 minutes, with other eyes on him, he kills, cleans up, disposes of Monkey, orders pizza, calls Brandy 2 times at work, calls 911, and is seen outside looking for Monkey in 20 minutes. How does that happen?
It's no freaking way. The only thing that Tyler did that, we're not going to beat up on him because I would never do that, is he lost track of his child that he thought was safe in his home for a few minutes and he walked out the door.
Mhm.
And that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life.
It already does. It already does.
I know. And all I can say is praise God for Brandy and him sticking together through this, because this breaks up families, this kind of thing. And
Tiffany texted me when it all broke loose, and she was so upset because she was so worried, about the family. Of course, worried about Monkey. That goes without saying.
Yes.
And I said, we talked each other through it. Me and Tiff did. It's like, it's gonna be okay. It really is.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I think, and I tell people, I said, I don't know, like, I don't personally know the family, like, most of us don't, but you feel close to this family. It's like, because, I feel like they've given everything that they know and they're honest. And all I could feel like is I can only feel a part of Brandy's pain because I don't have kids, but man, it hurts me. And if it hurts us, I can't imagine how they feel. I mean, it's just like, it's a punch in the gut every time something happens that this doesn't go through.
It is a punch in the gut. It is. And I just really, and we're so cool here. This community has been so strong for that family. And like Brandy knows it. She can listen to a show and she knows, hey, mama, we got you.
Yeah.
You're going to have, you're going to have support here. We're not in the business of tearing them down. Now, if the evidence pointed to them, we'd be tearing their asses down. But the evidence doesn't. It never did. That girl said the main witness, in my opinion, needed to have some mental assistance treatment. Now she may be more stable to give details. Bingo. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight for sure, or it would have already done. But just knowing that the state let off on those charges is a big, big thing. Now, the guns and drugs charges aren't going anywhere, so she still sits in jail.
Yeah, she's in court next week, I think, for those. I think for some kind of court. I saw something for next week, but they also know if she's still in jail, they don't have to worry about where she's at. So I think that's a good thing too. But I'm sure that they have something, and that's like the first time I heard it too, just like you. I mean, I was like, you got on it quicker than me, but I was like, first time I heard that they dropped the charges, I was pissed. And then all of a sudden I was like reading everything. I was like, wait a minute, let me think. No, this is smart. They got something up their sleeve. And, because it hurt. The first thing you read is like, what the hell? Why would you let her go? And then you're like, wait a minute, they know something else, because they know a lot more. And they don't even remember, they didn't tell Brandy and Tyler that neighbors weren't cooperating. So they don't even tell the family everything.
No, and they can't. And I 100% agree with that. There was a lady in chat a couple of days ago, and it doesn't matter who it is, because she was really upset with me when I said, no, the family doesn't need to know. Right. And I didn't mean it that way. They're going to know someday, but they're emotionally vested. Not saying law enforcement isn't, but loose lips sink ships. And if you say something to the wrong person. You're not trying to ruin your child's case or your sister's case or your dad's case or your mom's case. It's just you want to talk, you want to vent, you got something on the chest you want to get off. Well, next thing you know, here's people. Guess what I heard? I can't tell where it came from. Well, the police who monitor social media say that could only come from one place. Now,
Yeah.
what you have done is you have let the criminals get 10 paces ahead of us. We don't like to work that way.
Mm-mm.
That girl said that is the important thing to remember. She is still there. She's still there. And if it
Yep.
wasn't, she already had other charges over her. I don't think they would have let these go.
No, I don't think so either. I think that I mean, because they don't probably want to use any resources to have to kind of follow her around or track her or whatever. I mean, I think that they know she's in jail, and that happens all the time. They have other charges, so look at Stacy. He's been in there on other charges. They don't have to worry about his ass. They know exactly where he is.
They know
So they're
exactly.
not ready yet. They're not ready yet. So they're like, he's not going anywhere.
No, he's
I
not
don't
going anywhere. No, not for a long time. And also, it saves time because everybody, according to our Constitution, has the right to a fair and speedy trial.
Yeah.
So once they press charges, once they they put you in jail for those charges, they have to, they can't just leave you sitting there for 20 years while they're investigating. So this is a way for them to preserve the clock as well.
I agree completely. The same thing like I've said to all these cases that, we all talk about all the time. It's like, as much as we dislike and we know that a lot of these people are, guilty, they have to have their rights have to be make sure they're taken care of. You have to make sure they get a good trial and they have good attorneys, because we don't want them to come back and say, hey, you guys screwed me. So now, you need to vacate this conviction or, go back and do another trial.
And
So we
the
want to make sure we do it right.
appeals process pisses me off more than anything. They can take the smallest technicality in a court hearing. It's legal, it's right, it's constitutional. Look at Scott Peterson and all that BS. You know he killed Lacey, and he's
Yep.
still dicking around with appeals, wanting a new trial, you name it. So let's get it right. Let's get it right the first time and not put this family through anything more, because this sick pedo ring needs to be brought down, brought to justice, put away, and throw away the key.
And at this point, like you said before, at this point, what's happened to Monkey is as horrible as it is for me to say out loud. It's already happened. And as much as it hurts, we need to be able to hopefully save others' lives in the long run. And I think that the family would agree with that as well. I mean, obviously, the foremost is their child, but if something happened to your kid, you want to be able to take care of it and make sure you cut off, all this other problems, so no other family has to be hurting as much as you are.
You bet. You bet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a horrible thing. It truly is. And I don't know where it ends of this, just because it's like all these cases, and I'm hearing so much more about these rings and trafficking. I mean, there's just so many of them, and there's so much out there.
But
You saw my other case, Thomas Bell, but there's another one. So I'm telling you, I think there's a lot more of these pedo rings and trafficking rings than we're aware of.
Oh, sure. But you do know that there are a few doctors out there. Doctors, okay? And there's a couple of states, I'm not going to name what states they are. You can probably guess if you wanted to really try, that want to list pedophilia as a mental illness that you can claim disability for. They want it part of the DSM. Once you do that, they can start getting off as if they don't already. It's already, the sentences on these people are way too light as it is. That's got to change. And the only thing that can change it is Congress. They want it to be considered a mental illness.
Yeah, that's like Tisha saying, "Oh, I have a mental illness because I killed an 11-year-old child." Screw that. I mean, it's like make me want to throw up. Come on. Sick.
It's disgusting. But in light of all of this, a miracle has happened this week, Shannon, and I'm glad that we're all here together to discuss it. We have had a miracle in the true crime community, Shannon. I'm only going to touch on it for a little bit because we're going to really get in depth with it today at the members live, but there has been a miracle this week. A few months ago, this was what we saw. We had a Candace Wells that was barely clinging on to life. She needed new pacemaker batteries. She was having strokes every time we turned around. She wasn't even allowed to call her kids anymore because she was accused of being drunk. Dawn Wells said she was not drunk. That was from her stroke. But we have now had a miraculous recovery. We have a miraculous recovery.
Wow.
She's 100%. 100% Shannon. She's out spackling with Dawn. She's smoking like a chimney. She doesn't need pacemaker batteries. The stroke has stopped. She's speaking normal. It's like Oral Roberts himself has come down to Ben Hill Road and healed her.
Remember Benny Hinn? It's like Benny Hinn came over.
Ooh, oh no. This is from the divine. Now, mind you,
Oh,
Easter
wow.
was last week. Something happened. Look at her go.
And she looks
Wow.
like she's been eating pretty good too lately in the
She's
neighborhood.
been doing good. Let me tell you what. She's been doing great. On top of that, now she has, of course, our Candace never lets us down. Her only real friend she has, Kathy, who I'm on the fence about really, because I don't really understand why you take Candace under your wing.
Yeah, I'm
But
confused too.
Kathy has been helping her a lot since Dawn went to jail. And Kathy, of course, I don't know how the friendship began, but they became friends after Summer disappeared. Well, good old Candace, like I said, she never lets us down. She has screwed Kathy over. Kathy has been paying bills for them. Kathy took her to rehab. Kathy has helped, I believe, with child support, I've heard. Pretty much way above and beyond for a friend. But good old Candace screwed her over. She accused her of making money off of Summer's name.
Well, isn't that what she's been doing?
Now, this supposedly was over a $10 Cash App. Leave it to Candace. I don't know why she's upset about the Cash App because our girl Candace has found, everybody has a talent. You're a very good runner, Shannon.
Oh, thank you.
You're a very good runner. I've got couple things that, I'm a little better at than other things.
Good at sarcasm. It's good, yeah.
OJ can clean out a bowl of vanilla ice cream and bacon. Everybody has their forte. Kat's a beautiful singer. She's a great videographer. Everybody has their thing. They have their niche. Candace has found hers. She won $18 at Coin Pusher.
After spending $200, right?
That's not the point, Shannon. That's not the point. Those pockets in those basketball shorts were about down to her ankles. She had so many quarters in them.
She should go to Vegas. Oh, wait, she can't afford to go there.
Oh, she can.
Her $18 take her far.
You never know. Minnesota gal said grifting off of everyone.
Oh, yeah. But they let her do it. They let her do it. And you can't feel sorry for people like Kathy when they let them do that. So I can't feel sorry for them because that's what Candace does.
Well, it's just a real shit thing to do that this woman's basically been supporting you and you get some money off another channel. People are cash apping you and you don't even buy dog food. You don't even buy Dawn a frozen pizza. You stand in front of the Coin Pusher for 2 hours.
She went down there to get the pizza and then she forgot about it and put the money in the Coin Pusher.
Yeah, I guess she was in front of that Coin Pusher for a long time, but she won $18 is what I heard. Now, Coin Pusher doesn't give it out in bills. It's only in quarters. Lisa, are they still living on Ben Hill Road? Yes, they are. Now, when Dawn went,
they don't have anywhere else.
When Dawn went to jail, that's when, like a month or so later, Candace moved in basically with Kathy. Kathy was feeding her, housing her. Kathy got her off of YouTube because from what I'm understanding, there's a few things that they are supposed to do in order to, I guess, get their kids back. I don't know. Work on getting their kids back. I don't see how the hell they're ever gonna get those boys back. They're still suspected of foul play in the disappearance of Summer Wells. But here's a few things they're not supposed to do. Everybody get a pen and paper. No
Alrighty.
drinking, no drugging, stay off of YouTube panels, and pay your child support. Out of those 4, they haven't done one of them right. Not a one of them. Next month, they have a hearing. I don't like to get too much into that because this is, this is public. We'll talk about it on the members live. And I don't think it's going to go in their favor.
I honestly hope it doesn't. I think that they're better off where they are, but I think most of us feel that way.
Mhm.
But there's one that I know commented on mine too. Oh, I hope they get their kids back. And I'm like, oh God. I'm like, okay. Hey, your opinion, not mine.
I don't know why these freaks of the week keep wishing more harm upon these children. What is wrong with them? I saw those comments about a year ago. People were like, "You go, mama. I know you can be the best Candace you've ever been, and you're going to get those boys back." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, you had me at best Candace you've ever been. All right, I'll give you that one. Get better, Candace. Leave innocent children out of it." Bob G said $18 would just about pay the child support for 2 of the boys for a month.
Sure, yeah.
We didn't pay even a portion of it because we got Kathy doing everything for us, right? Don't need anybody else because we're using the shit out of Kathy. So, okay, so we got that going. We didn't even buy Diamond any dog food. Now, if you remember about this time last year, the Humane Society had to round up all the dogs from the hill because she went to Kathy's and just left the dogs behind. No dog food, no water, no nothing.
She can't take care of kids or animals.
But somebody thought it was a good idea for her to have yet another animal. Vet girl, you're exactly right. Vet girl said redoing a house, staying off YouTube has nothing to do with protective custody for safety reasons. No, it doesn't. I didn't mean to be confusing. But that's what we have going on. We have a miracle on our hands.
Well, I'm glad that she's had that miracle though. I mean, gosh. I mean, now she can actually go out and look for her daughter. Oh wait, she's not doing that either.
Well, now she's working. She's working. I just don't know how we went from I still don't understand the hospital situation. I don't know how now other people have been to this hospital, okay, and they've said no. They put you in a gown because they have to put, especially for the heart, because they have to put those stickers and stuff like that on you. A lot of times they give you an IV. It's the hospital, but she's laying there in a hoodie and a cap.
Yeah, I went into the hospital, the ER years ago, and they had me in a gown. They were checking my heart and they had me all hooked up. Yeah, I'm wondering, did they walk through a hospital and just lay in a random bed for a picture up?
That's what I said. Did they just find an empty gurney and just lay her ass down there and Tim starts taking pictures? I don't know.
Well, he's their media manager, so he has to make sure all their stuff looks good, and there's signs everywhere. That you saw that post the other day too, right?
Yeah, and Tim must be pretty ass hurt right now because like a few other people, he has spent almost 2 tireless years defending them. And every time the heat settles down a little bit on Candace, she brings it right back up to the temperature of hell. And then we hear from Kathy, they're not paying their child support. They are not sober.
Mm-mm.
They're still drinking. They're still doing drugs. They're not paying their child support, but they're feeding off the kindness of these other people. So we go from Death's Door Candace to Norma Ray. Look at that. Champion for all women right there.
So glad she could get her hands dirty, and get out there and achieve the American dream.
Look at that. Aaron Brockovich right in front of me. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's a miracle.
That's amazing.
Vet girl for the win. Vet girl said, I never received my lawsuit papers from that meteor moron. Yeah, he said he was going to sue us all. I volunteered myself. I volunteered Trevor, Kat, vet girl. You better believe it.
Come after me, but I don't have much for him either.
It's a moot
Send them
point.
some dog food. They'll actually have some dog food then.
It's a moot point. It's a total moot point. Kat said she sent me a clip. I got to get on that. And really, they did have a meeting with Morgan and Morgan. Supposedly, Morgan and Morgan was going to take their case for the online harassment. But one simple YouTube search, and you come across Dawn with shades on, no shirt, sitting on the toilet. They were like, I don't think I can help them.
Yeah, they're all over the billboards here. And Morgan takes a lot of, like, I don't want to say crap cases, but that's the word that comes to mind. And he likes to they like to have his people put his head on, like, this great bodies and stuff. It's very bizarre. But as soon as he sees all that stuff with Don, he's going to be like, crap, I ain't getting a penny out of him. So forget it.
You can't put their nastiness in front of, they go to sue somebody. Let's say they sue Trevor, okay? Trevor shows up to the Morgan and Morgan court. There's Dawn, there's Tim, there's Candace talking about how mistreated they've been by Trevor. Here comes Trevor, and he's got his own clips of right out lies they have made up and said about him publicly, and they're like, done. We're done here.
Yep.
But that's how it goes. That
They
is
spend as much energy as they spend on their crap and drama that they would spend on finding their daughter, but I think they know what happened to Summer. That's the problem.
I know one of them does.
Yeah, for sure she does. Now Don, I don't know. He's either he knows or he's just the most oblivious person in the world. But I bet you Grandis knows too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you have the whole, how many people have 2 members of their family go missing? Candace's sister, now her daughter.
Mm-hmm. And then you win $18 at Coin Pusher.
Yep.
How does all that work?
And she gets her miracle. She's doing great.
That's a lot of lottery odds. That one guy, the most he won after playing Coin Pusher was $1.25, and she gets $18. Look at this, Shan.
Pusher, $2 start. Hold that skill stop button. We're gonna do $1 on this side and $1 on this side. Let's see if we make back more than $2. Oh, come on, good push. Oh, that was, wait, second wave. All right, let's see what we got back. $1.25. Okay.
$1.25, but she got 18 miracles all the time.
She's just amazing. That's all you got to say about her.
That's all you can say. All right. Well, there's no point in me recapping anything from the week from the Leticia Stauch trial because, well, we had a whole show on it yesterday, and we've been watching the trial every day.
My God, my head hurts listening to her phone calls.
I hope there's no more phone calls.
I heard there's more. I'm like, go, please.
I just don't.
And what was it? Yeah, she was on, Curious was on yesterday, and she said it's even different in court. And I'm like, oh God.
Oh, Curious yesterday said that the back of her head looks like a rat's nest. And what I can't get over is look at the difference in her. Now, where's Summer 800 TBI fine? She's not in here right now. She's saying because on the left, those are heavy filters. No, on the right, this is what she has become the last 3 years in jail. Her face doesn't even look the same because look at her mugshot from a few years ago. There's no. Oh, I'm sorry. That's her in court. That's not a mugshot. But look at her. Now, she looks mean as a snake, but Her face looks totally different.
Yeah. Even with the crappy, Zoom or whatever, those cameras, it's still, it's scary enough as it is. I can't imagine if you cleared it up. I think I'd be having nightmares even more.
Oh yeah, like I opened it up and I mean her face just looks totally different. I mean,
I
it
feel
looks like
sorry for Lana having to go up there and look at her.
yeah, I feel sorry
Poor
for
Lana.
everybody. Woo!
She's gonna need some more therapy, that poor kid. Oh my Lord.
You know, I'm not as worried about Lena as I am the others. Lena is she is so from what I have heard, mind you,
Uh-huh.
I'm not in this. I have not inserted myself, but they say Lena is so steadfast, so about what's right, wants what's right for her brother. I mean, this is probably going to be turn into like a career for Lena someday.
What an
She
amazing
has
kid.
what an 8 years old, and she has no issue talking to the FBI, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, detectives with El Paso. She's gonna bebop. She's gonna get up on that stand, and she's gonna tell them exactly how things went down.
I can't wait. And I really hope that, because I think she's probably one of the strongest kids. She's had to grow up a little fast in certain ways, but man, I tell you what, I think her testimony is going to be big.
Huge,
I saw
huge.
pictures of her. Did you see the pictures of her with Landon? Like, I guess they went to like some bowling or something the other day. And
No.
yeah, she posted it. Landon posted it on her Facebook. And I thought, oh, she's such a sweet kid. And then they were also reposting videos, I guess, of the kids in the car singing, and I'm like, man, it breaks my heart. So yeah, like, tell you what, she loved her brother so much, and I think that all she wants, like you said, is she's gonna go up there, and I'm sure they've prepared her otherwise too. They're like, she's sitting there, the nasty, evil woman, and you just need to go up there, and she's like, I'm probably ready. And I can't wait till she gets up there and tells her truth.
Me too. Britt Sadie said in that Pinky video, the candle video that we can't get
Yeah.
out of our heads, Lena was the one on the bed. I didn't know if she was in the bed or in the living room because
Oh
uh,
God.
you hear the ring go through there going, I don't know what to do. And you hear Lena go, why? You hear a little girl's voice. And then there she goes, going into Gannon's room. He's burnt. He's bleeding. By this time, she'd already burnt the carpet to cover up the blood. Gannon, Gannon, Gannon. Promise you didn't do it on purpose. Gannon, Gannon, Gannon. That woman makes me ill.
She's the only one who knows the truth of what happened with that candle. Besides Nasty T, she's gonna probably tell everybody every damn part of that. Because if she was right there, it's awful. But she's prepared. She's already told them, and she's gonna tell them. She's gonna tell the whole world.
Mhm.
And I can't wait to hear her. And tell you what, I want to give her big virtual hugs, because what a brave kiddo.
Big time. All right, guys, I'm going to shut this down. I appreciate everybody coming here and going through this crazy week with me. Thank you, True Crime with Shannon, for coming up and shooting the bull with me.
I'll be back for the live.
We'll be back 15 minutes. We got the trial, and then at 1 p.m. Central, because I'm going to shut the trial down, 1 p.m., we're going to do a members live where we're going to talk about miracles in East Tennessee. It's going to be a good one. Then we're going to go back to the trial. So we're hanging out all day. You ready, Shan?
Yeah, it's Great Friday. I'm off, and it's wonderful.
There we go. I'll see you in 15 minutes.
All right. Bye, guys.
Connie said, see you in 15 minutes. Carol's giving kisses. Arlene, thank you. Thank you. I want to thank Turn Back Time for gifting the memberships and sent me a Cash App. Thank you very much for that. I want to thank Lone Wolf for the great comment and the super sticker. Diana for gifting memberships. Izzy for the super sticker. All of you for being here, supporting this channel, being super cool and kind and always willing to have an adult conversation, agree to disagree, and be friends at the end of the day. So I'm going to miss you like crazy, guys. I'm going to miss you. But I will see you back here in 14 minutes. I'll see you then. You guys are the best.